You can put so much work into designing really cool car liveries in Gran Turismo Sport. And while it may take some time, even making the most incredible designs is really just a matter of overlaying elementary shapes. Guys, let's grab some decals and tear it up. What's up guys, Darkdally here, playing Gran Turismo Sport. Today we're working more in the livery editor. I want to go over some cool stuff to help me to design this car here, which I'm going to show you how I did. I'm going to go through it step by step in today's video, and it's mostly about shading and masking shapes over other shapes and giving some dimension to the car, really adding shading and highlights to create a good base to lay decals over. Okay, so we've already kind of started on this McLaren 650S here. I wanted to get a kind of a proof of concept going. What I want to do is I kind of want to blend it from one color to another. I want to have it, I want shading and highlights to go with the curves of the car, and I want to make it look like, well, I guess you'll see. Here's what we're doing. I started off by painting the car green. Sorry, I got a little head start here. I wanted to get a little proof of concept going. As I said, I painted the whole car green. I've masked out the front of the car by getting these blue shapes here. And so it kind of goes from blue back to the green, and then the rear of the car is going to be a different color overlapping the green. All right, and you see we got a bit of a mess here. There's some things that need to be fixed. The shading was all done with these gradient shapes, pretty simple, and you can make the gradient darker by simply overlapping them. See how here I have it like a real, I'm trying to create like a real dark shadow under the blue. Now, the hood, bit of an issue. We're going to have to manually match that because for some reason the hood is a different area than the rest of the car. Really annoying, Gran Turismo, really annoying. And we're going to pick the gradient we've been using. Let's go ahead, let's make it black, and I'm just going to have to manually match this somehow. Oh, actually, you know what? It looks pretty good. It does. Let's go ahead and let's finish that up. Now, let's see here. Let's say we want the back of the car a different color. And we're going to do the same thing I did with the front, which you guys weren't here for. We're going to go to the left side, and I'm going to add, I want to match the contour of the car. There's some pretty easy decals to do that with. Not here, but here. Keeping the shape of the car in mind. Something like this. This is like almost too right on, but let's try it. I mean, this is like almost too literal. But it might just work. Okay, here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to use the skew tool to kind of make this into what we want. But we can do it. Yeah, as with any other form of art, I do like to avoid being too literal, but that does match the contour of the car, and that is what we're going for. So let's go ahead, let's finish that. I'm not worrying about the right side of the car, although I probably should be a little bit, because I do intend to just duplicate all this stuff over there, but it is best to do that as we go, for sure. So let's go ahead, let's duplicate this over there before we lose track of where we're at. So let's go ahead, let's duplicate this over there. Now this should be the same on both sides. Now here's one thing I'm going to want to do. I do like the outside background here, but it's kind of working against me right now. I think this is kind of bland and kind of boring, but it might be better for what we're doing. Make sure both sides. Okay, I don't have those two little shadies yet. We need, where are they at? Here they are. These two guys need to be duplicated over there. All right. Which one was that? That was that one, so we need to duplicate this one. This is why it's kind of good to do this as you go. That way you don't lose like crazy track of what you were doing. Okay, now we got this. Now what color should the back of the car be? I'm going to use this yellow. Now the illusion I'm going for is the blue is over the green and the yellow is over the green. Let's go ahead, let's get the rest of the back of this car yellow. Let's also go ahead and make this the same yellow. Luckily, it does save our color palette. This is one handy thing this livery editor does right, and actually at least lets us use the same color. I wish it let us copy and paste other parameters. You know, it's You know, I don't mean to take a shot at Polyphony here, but it's almost like none of them ever used a program like this before, because they didn't include most of the features you find in, you know, similar things. But hey, whatever. I could complain all day. It ain't going to do a thing, right? Let's go ahead and... I do like triangles. If you guys have seen my previous videos, I talk about them a lot. Well, you can fit them into a lot of shapes. It's a good base. The reason being, I can take this, I can kind of fit it in, and then whatever space it doesn't fill, I can just use another triangle. Yeah, this rotate tool leaves a little bit to be desired as well. I'm going to put that there for now. See, here's the thing. I can just go duplicate. I'm already working on another triangle. I don't have to go pick another shape to fit. I can just... Let's go ahead. Let's see. Just cover as much, whoops, territory as we can to about right there. Now that strip of green right there cannot be covered from the side. I may have to cover that from the top. This system is a little odd at times, it seems. I'm going to get some more of this cover work done, and I'll be right back. I've decided to go ahead. I want to wrap some of the blue from the hood around over the top of the car. And so I'm using this weird triangle shape here. It's kind of like a pie wedge shape. Rotation's a bit off. Oh, there we go. Now we just need to position it a little better. That should be what we're looking for right there. I think it'd be cool if I bring the blue up over the top. You know, just playing with color. Oh, you know what I see? Oh, right there, we got us a gap. All right. Let's see if I can fix it without throwing this off center, you know. No, I think we did that there. Okay, good. Good. Glad I caught that. Let's go ahead and let's make it blue, and then I want to bring this back. And I do apologize if you can hear my fan in the background. I just became aware I left it on. It's really hot in here. This is taking some time, so sorry about the extra noise if there is any. Permit me the use of my fan. Let's find us. We want to bring it back onto the back of the car, nice and smooth like. Maybe just another one of these might be what we need. A little bit like this, maybe. I think this could be kind of cool. Assuming we get this centered, and I'm still not convinced that we do. I think it needs to rotate a bit more like... Yeah. Boy, I wish there was a way to precisely do this. Again, it's like these guys who design these tools never used this before. Apparently they never played Forza or any other game that's been perfecting this for 10 years. Let's go ahead and paint this blues to match the front, and then we'll have shadows under it, just like the front. The blues kind of overlapping it. We'll see how this works. This should be easy enough to do. We just want to add a layer below this. Boy, do I want to put it on the roof for the... Let's actually put it on the left side. That way I can easily mirror it on the other side. We'll just slide it up onto the roof. That is one problem with, you know, livery editing, which is just universal. You know, a car is itself one shape. How do you decide, you know, which side is which, you know, when you're talking about something that wraps all the way around? That's something that is just hard to work around no matter what kind of thing you're talking about here. So I'm just going to put this here. I actually did end up putting it on the roof. We'll just duplicate it. Now, it doesn't look quite even. That's because I'm going to add another one of these, and then they'll overlap, and it should look pretty good. Well, that looks pretty decent right there. Now what we're going to do, what I could have done while I was there, is just duplicate. Duplicate again. Trying to get rid of that weird kind of edge there. And we'll just do it over here as well. All right, let's see what we got. That's kind of cool, but the blue still lacks any depth itself. It's just flat blue. So let's see about fixing that. Okay, so I decided I don't really like the way that blue overlaps the green. Don't get me wrong, I'm not changing it, but I think we can make it look a little better, add some shading to the blue. I'm going to try that in the form of a highlight. So what I want to do is this shape right here, remember this curved shape that I put here? Actually, I'm not sure at this point if that was in the video or not, but I have a little curved shape here. You can see it highlighted right there on the right side of the screen. We're going to duplicate that like so. All right, so I got two of those identical over one another. Now, I want to make this a slightly lighter color, which I've already tried it to make sure it works. So I have it down here, this color right here. So it's just like one shade lighter. Now, I'm just going to move it back just a little bit. It seems to give a little bit of a better transition. I'm going to go with that for now. And it's good to be in the habit of, you know, when you do one thing on the one side, go ahead and duplicate it on the other side while you're thinking of it before you get lost and don't know where it's at. Okay, it went under the other one. That's a little odd. I've not had that problem when duplicating, so no problem. We'll just move the layer up. There we go. Of course, for the sake of continuity, we're going to want to add more of these highlights. I'm thinking here on the front. So here's what we're going to do. This could be, hell, this could be a top layer. It just needs to cover the blue. Let's actually put it on the hood, because it is a highlight, so we're going to have it on top. We need a cool shape to fit the contour of the car. I think this right here might actually work. You know, I'm always trying to keep my eyes open for things that might fit the contour of the car. And we might want to skew this a little bit. Yeah, it's not a bad place for a highlight. We're going to paint it the same color as the other highlight. Hope it looks good. Yeah, these little highlights were a good idea. I'd like to get some over the fender arcs as well. That should be a lot simpler. So let's go ahead. Let's just add a layer on top. Left side. We want a good shape. And these crescent moons. We need something really curved. Because projecting it on the car here like this, it's going to straighten it out. Let's try this guy and see what we get. Okay, we can uncurve it a little bit. We should be able to with skew tool. No, I don't like that. So I'm gonna find something to fix that, and then we'll continue on. Okay, I think what we're gonna do is I'm using two shapes here. I'm just gonna size this to the right size, and two shapes, as you can see, overlaying these two gets me the shape I wanted for the highlight. Let's go ahead and make this the same color, and it'll look like one little shape. That's a decent looking highlight around the top of the fender. Now, because I put it on the left side, I can duplicate on reverse. And then here's the original shape I used. And duplicate on reverse. There you go. That does add some depth, it seems, to this whole thing. I know what to do with all this, with the top here anyway. We're gonna stripe it. I am a big fan of stripes over the top of cars. I think that's the best way to deal with this. And so here's what we're gonna do. Let's find us a good stripe, something that contrasts with the rest of the car. Of course, that would be white. What kind of stripe do we want? We have lots to choose from. Go with a pretty standard one. I think this one right here. And what we'll do is we'll create shadows under these. Let's get this stretch as long as we can. Whoa! Yeah. This tool ain't perfect. How centered are we? Hard to say, but it looks pretty centered. Yeah, it looks pretty damn centered. I think we actually got that rotated pretty good. Oh yeah, look right there on that rear vent right over the engine. It looks like we either need to move it or rotate it just a tad. I'm going to say move it. Because if we rotate it, it'll throw this off down here. So let's just inch it. Inch, 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 inch. There. Yeah, that's good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a shadow under this. A hard one. It'll be easy. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit OK. We're going to hit duplicate. Okay, so we duplicated, so we made another one. Let's go to the bottom one. The original one, you know. We're going to make it black. And just up the size of it. It'll be like a little shadow under the stripes. Of course, we'll have to carry this onto the hood. I think this might be a good way to break this up, and we can add some more stuff into that. Cross that bridge when I come to it. I thought white would be a good color because it's not used anywhere else. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to copy paste this onto the hood, so I'm going to have to eyeball it. This is why I hate that the hood is a separate thing. We're going to have to, if we want the stripe onto the hood, which I do, we're going to have to come here, pick the same stripe, and yeah, pray that yeah, I think so. I think I just left it that same scale, so we're just gonna go ahead, hit OK on that. And here's another trick. You can also duplicate from right here. I think this may be something they added because I don't recall seeing this at the game's release. Right here in this layer menu, we can hit triangle and we can hit duplicate layer. Now we can just go hit this back one, the bottom one, make it black. And get that same, let's see how much, that looks about right. Yeah, that looks right. Now we're just going to go put this on the front. So we're just going to add a layer on the front. And this one's bigger for no apparent reason. Boy, don't you love it, guys. No matter. We'll just size this down to the correct size. Finish editing layer. Let's go ahead and just duplicate. Go to the bottom one. Make it black. Size that up so the shadows match. I think this does a decent job. Yeah, this really does. Really does. Now you can move the camera around. The controls are listed at the bottom of the screen, so I never really felt it necessary to tell you. But if you do wonder how moving the camera around, you can hold R1 on the PlayStation, and you can move this around. Really helps a lot when you're doing this. It's actually quite vital. We're going to add a layer underneath this, and we're going to go with this guy like it's spilling over from the top. And this is all just about, you know, layering stuff, of course. Let's put this here. I like it. You know, and that was the whole idea of this car, was adding shadows and highlights to get something kind of cool. So let's get some blue highlights up there. Let's do that for sure. So we're going to find, you know, I think there's a decent shape here. Let's try this one again. It didn't work for me before. Maybe it'll work this time. I'm going to find just the right spot for it. The curve of it's kind of off. Now I can tweak and adjust the curve. Let's try it. Yeah, you know what? It'll work because first let's go ahead and put it on the other side before I do this. Now let's go ahead and let's add just a little tiny something here. Little triangle. Triangles are great for things just like this right here. We'll just, I wonder if I can, you know, I never tried this. We're going to try this right now. Can I duplicate that on the other side? Never tried doing it with something on the roof. Let's try it. Let's see if we can. Huh, you can. How about that? I figured it would only apply to stuff on the sides. Well, there we go. Now we know. Of course, I'm sure I'll have some comments of people who didn't watch the entire video and told me that earlier on. Well, I did eventually figure it out. Okay, that looks good. I like that better than the dark gradient shading. I like those highlights better. Now we need to work on this yellow back here. Notice the green is showing here. It's because I projected this yellow from the side and it didn't hit the top. We can cover that up by, actually I'll just do it right here. We just need to add some yellow right underneath the stripe. I want to make sure it is underneath the stripe, so we'll just hit add layer below. This is going to be easy. We're just going to get us a big stinking square. Let's go ahead and let's change the color first. Let's pick that same kind of off canary yellow. Who knows why I picked it. You guys can pick whatever color you want. We're going to move this down here, and this should, yep, pick up all the gaps that we had, except for the spoiler, but that's not a problem. In fact, let's go back here. Let's go to paint, and what do you think? Black? Yeah, I think black would be the safest way to go. What about like flat black? Yeah, actually, you know what? Normally I'm not wanting to go for matte, but I think that might be the ticket. Let's have a look what normal black would look like. No, that matte did look good, but I think, yeah, gloss. I like to try to find an excuse to use, you know, different stuff when I can, but hey. We got some green here on the inside of the bumper. I wonder if there's any way to get rid of that. Probably not. It's probably going to be like there's a green sliver up here on the hood. See that right there? I can't get rid of that. It's just the base color of the car. Nothing I can do about it. It's in a unpaintable crevice because the back of this car is covered by one huge yellow square. So that's okay. We got a good base for whatever kind of like vinyl or anything you'd want. Now we need highlights on the yellow. I'd like to do some highlights just like I did on the blue. And I think I know how I'm going to do this. Let's find us a different highlight. Let's find us a custom shape. You know what? These guys right here have been really good to me for the most part. Stretch it out. There we go. Using the skew function. We want this to look like a highlight, so of course we want it to follow the contour of the car as much as we can. You know what? I think that's good. Now what we need to do is, this is where, get us another triangle to finish off the front part of it. Just get a normal size triangle. Oops. Can I reset the... Yes, I can. There we go. That looks good. That'll follow right along. Let's go ahead and duplicate on reverse. Okay. And duplicate on reverse. Okay. Even though it's an ugly highlight, it really does add something to the car, though. All these highlights really are. Let's get one more on the back wheel here. I'm really feeling something like, let's see, we got all kinds of shapes. This guy right here, I'm really feeling this guy, I think. First thing, now, we can hit, you guys know, if we go here, we can hit flip horizontally. There should be another way to do it. If I hold L1 to tilt or change the scales, I can just change the horizontal scale all the way until it flips itself. Kind of a neat little trick there. Of course, that's going to change the controls for sizing it backwards. Is one thing, but I think so would flipping it the other way, flipping it with the other method. I think that would too. Let's go ahead and just put it on the other side while I'm thinking about it. All right, so the whole idea of this was to get a nice little base to put something over. I think this adds some dimension to the car. Maybe, you know, hey, maybe you guys don't agree. But regardless, there's some cool techniques here with highlighting, shading, and things like that. I'm going to add some more to this and then tie up this video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's get this done. I'll be right back. Okay, and so what I've done is I went ahead, used the graphics that I created on that livery, and I used them as a base, put more stuff over it. That's what it was designed for. It's designed for, something to use as a base with some shading to add some depth to whatever was above it. Now I have gone through and I replaced the yellow with red. I looked at the yellow and I was like, you know what? The yellow just really doesn't look quite right. So what I did was I replaced it with red. As you can see, I might just go to a better view here. Just go to the garage view. And I changed the color of the highlights as well. So the red has highlights, as you can see right there. I think it came out looking pretty nice. And really, I think, personally, from my personal opinion, once you get a good base down like I did with the shading and the overlaid shapes, then you can put the livery that you want over it. Put whatever numbers or, decals or whatever you want over it. And you get that good base to put stuff over. And that's what we've got here. All right, guys. I think this came out looking pretty decent. There's a lot of possible things you could do. I hope this was somewhat entertaining. Maybe it gave you some inspiration. That's actually mostly what I'm hoping for. Most of the stuff I did, I think, is fairly simple, but maybe it at least gave you guys some inspiration. Maybe you guys enjoyed watching it, whatever. I'm sorry, man. It took forever to get this done, and there's probably about 50 layers of vinyls. It got a little out of hand, but, when you get a good base done like this and you put decals over it, you can really get a good, solid, and unique looking car. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Tell me what you think in the comments below. It's been a real pleasure. I'm Darkdally. I will catch you guys next time.